Hey, whoever's watching, I have my coffee. It's just about to turn 8 o'clock in the morning. It is the 1st of August. I'm just realizing I need to change my calendar. And just like I was saying in my second video, Dereck's playlist video, that, it's my nature to kind of mess with expectations. And so today's video, I just want to kind of like see if I can share a thought that an observation. It's a thought and observation. I'm gonna move this lamp because it looks like I have a hat on, doesn't it? Like a fez. Excuse me. I was partying last night with a bunch of friends, a bunch of musician friends. Nick Fackler, Vicky Blossom's in Dream had just turned 30, and I had a really nice party at his house and a lot of wonderful conversation. But besides that conversation, I just want to share that I have been getting out even more lately and networking, trying to increase my hustle because I need to, I need to make money. And the thing that I keep noticing and bringing up in conversations, that it just seems like it's really beyond a lot of people to understand. And I'd like your feedback on it, because it's like, it's something that is obvious to me through self-observation. And I'm only sharing what makes sense to me, and that's I'm prefacing it like that because this is the thing I keep seeing, is that people live in the mind, but they don't. Most people have no idea that they live in the mind. They just assume. I've been having a lot of conversations with all kinds of people lately. Some interesting people, very intelligent people, as well as some fairly. I just don't have a lot of time for people that aren't very, just can't think well. And it's like, I always observe it happening in conversations where people completely are oblivious to the fact that all they're saying is what they experience, what their perspective is, what their life experience is. We talk to each other as though what we're saying is what the other person should be thinking, feeling, and seeing as well. I watch people butt heads over opinions, even after you remind the folks, well, it's just their opinion. We all have opinions. Did you forget? And they forget, or something. It's just so obvious to me that we live in the mind. The thing that we share is consciousness. There are a lot of theories, and there's even science that has proven many things about reality regarding how it's conscious-based, as opposed to, anyway, I'm not a scientist. But it really comes through clear to me, and it helps me to keep my equilibrium with others, knowing that all I'm ever saying and all I'm ever doing is based on what I can understand through my experience. Speaking to other people, it becomes really obvious very clearly that each person is experiencing the world in a different way and comes up with their own conclusions. It's just, to me, kind of, it's perplexing is the word, how many seemingly intelligent people just cannot have this ability to have self-observation, which is, I'm sharing my experience with you rather than I'm telling you how it is. And that's the difference between how I try to communicate with others and how most people try to communicate with me and with everybody else. Everyone is trying to tell everyone else how it is, when all I'm trying to let you know is what my experience is and what makes sense to me. Which makes a lot more sense to me, rather than trying to insist that something I see is something that you must see, or something that I know. Here's an example. Yesterday I met one of the big art critics in Omaha. I can't remember his name already. Older guy, been writing forever and well respected. And oh, how do I want to put this? You know, he and this other artist who invited me to the lunch would, you know, they obviously known each other for a while, and they get going at each other, you know. And it was amusing at first, and then I had to speak up and bring up this information. I said, well, you guys, it's like you're just sharing what you know, and you just have opinions, right? And then the older critics said, you know, well, some people's opinions are more informed, you know. I said, that's fine, but still, it's still just what you see. You can't make others see what you see. The fact that you have more experience, does that invalidate other people's opinions? Some would say so, but that's, again, where I get back to the point where it's like, all we're doing is sharing our personal experience, you know. We cannot make others see what we see and experience what we experience. We can share it. I don't know. I'm struggling with trying to express my thoughts about this, but I think it's pretty crucial because a lot of the turmoil that's happening in the world is seemingly, to me, because people don't have the objectivity to realize I'm a person, here comes a person that has a different way of doing things, a different way of seeing things, but that's their take on the world, and it really doesn't have to have a negative impact on mine. You know, it's like the whole idea of someone who has a very strong experience, say a religious or a spiritual experience. They want to share it. That's, you know, which is cool. But when you get to the point where it's like, you don't know the God that I know, and you don't understand what's going to happen to you because you don't know, and the person saying all these things is just clueless to the fact that, you know, they're just sharing their internal experience, and that they can't force others to have an experience that they just had just by saying it to them. That objectivity that just, it seems to be lost on a lot of people, just I find interesting, and yet to my way of thinking, it seems sensible and intelligent to recognize that each person approaches life from what they have accumulated in experience and in knowledge. And if we could just remember this when we come together, then we can have more harmony. I know that it helps me get along with people, especially when we get to points in conversations where it's like my take on something will be completely different, you know, and I'll just keep remembering that this is this person's experience. It's different from mine, you know, and that's fine. I'm trying to talk about this because I honestly think that this way of trying to be more self-aware and process things is a solution. Another example, I was having a conversation online about war, and people start talking about historical perspectives. People start talking about particular agendas. I'm trying to think of the particular one it is. You know, the scenarios, you know, that so-and-so has just protected themselves, and if the other people would just do this, then the others would stop doing that. And again, it just, to me, just illustrates this huge separation from, I guess, what makes sense. It's like, you know, people get to a point where it's like, this is what I see and this is the way it's going to be, and I'll kill because that's the way I want it. It just, you know, it doesn't compute to me. And yet this is how the world is. What doesn't compute to me is people killing and shedding blood saying somehow that this is useful, or that there's a purpose behind it, and that the purpose makes it okay. I don't know. This is what I'm trying to share this morning. Before I stop, I'm going to try to hit it one more time. It's amazing to me how few people I meet who appear to have that part of self-observation going, where they can realize that when we come together, we can create harmony if we remember ourselves and remember each other person, that each person is bringing to the table what they've experienced and what they know, and we can't all possibly know and experience the same thing. And when we come up against abrasions, obstacles, things that we don't agree with, to remember that all we're doing is trying to fulfill what it is we understand. Everyone doesn't understand everything the same way. We can get along. It appears to me that it does take a lot of conscious effort to get along with others, but a big part of it is remembering the self, and remembering that all you're doing is trying to share what you experience with others. You can't make others. Wish I could make it make more sense. I think it's important, that's why I say it. Just like someone will tell me something they think is important, like, for example, someone will tell me about a sports game, or someone is trading to a team. That's important to them. It's not important to me at all, but it's important to them. So I remember that, try to remember that as I share the moment with the person, so that I don't have to do something offensive like maybe I would have in the past. Oh, that's just stupid sports, They're sharing their world, Just seems as if we can remember that when we're communicating, then we don't have to fight. All we're doing is trading notes. One person beating up others with their reality, which is what's going on, I think is insane and immature, and I think it's stupid. I do. I think mankind is just a lot dumber what is the word I'm thinking? Is a lot less self-aware than people want to just assume they are. One more thing. I got a long-distance call from a friend out of Colorado who was having a tough time, and he called me, and that's my role. I recognize that that's my real role in life with my friends, I'm fine with it, you know what I'm saying, because I don't like to talk a lot of bullshit. But I asked my friend, who was really miserable, I said, do you think about the things that you do? Are you aware, or are you on autopilot? He had to stop and think, because he's on autopilot. And he said, I'm on autopilot. And then I asked him, well, do you ever question the things that you're automatically doing, or the things that you're automatically thinking, especially the automatic thoughts that bring you misery and really don't make sense, but they were taught to you, so you keep thinking them? Do you ever stop to think about that and question it? And he said, no. And I said, this is how most of us are, including me. I have to stop and slap myself in different ways and wake up and pay attention, and think about what it is I'm doing, what I'm seeing, what's going on. Because the autopilot is thinking and just acting out of habit and out of what we assume is reality, because what we've been taught has a lot to do with the turmoil in the world, because it appears to me that people aren't thinking consciously and in the moment and questioning their motives and values and what's going on, I say this because I swear, if I were in a position of power and there was something I wanted, and I had been killing innocent people, especially children, in the conquest of this, I'm thinking I would surely have pause to that, thinking that what it is what I want worth more than these people's lives? How can it be? In my mind, see how I put things? I'm telling you, this is what I see. And I'm just sharing it, It just really seems like most people just can't have the objectivity that what we're putting out is just what we're seeing. We live in the mind. What are your thoughts, folks? I've tried to make this make sense. I may approach this again because I'm observing this all the time and trying to understand this what I'm talking about better all the time, because I want to get along and I really want to be part of the solution, and I really think that each person can be an active part of making the world better by doing little things like this. Greater self-awareness and self-appreciation is is a big start. We go at each other because, well, I see this. A lot of people go at each other because, number one, they are unaware of themselves, so they don't know who they are, so therefore they don't probably really like themselves. They'll come up against other people who will say and do things that will trigger this inside of them. They blame the others and strike out at them when the issue is really this emptiness or this unfinished business inside of the self. Just some things that I want to share and I'm thinking about all the time. Each one of us really can make this world a better place, but it just seems like it's just too much of for many people to grasp or think about. I don't know. This is what makes sense to me. You tell me what makes sense to you.